Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Combat Craig, and today we're talking about the 2025 cost of living increase and how that's going to affect your VA disability pay. We're going to go over the dates, special monthly compensation, DIC. I got my homeboy Raider X here with me.
What's
What's going on,
up?
dude?
Another day in
And we're
paradise.
going. Okay, so and we're going to do this together and kind of bounce off of that. For those of you that don't know, I don't know why I just did that. Raider X is a X Raider, so clever name. So he always has a different perspective than not a different perspective. We're heading in the right direction, but he has different insights because he was working for the enemy for 13 years. So why don't we start off with uh, the increase is actually 2.5%. How do you feel about that as a number?
Honestly, it's low, but we already knew that's going to be the case. I mean, they for whatever reason when they figure out the colas, they use the third quarter statistics, which is going to be July, August, and September. They use that. Um, they use those 3 months to determine what the number is going to be, and it's based off the CPI-W, which is wage based. And that's a consumer price index. So that's where that percentage comes from.
And
Um, I,
then and then to hop in, there's two things that they actually leave off of there, and I believe they're food and gas, and those are where the actual big numbers come from, and things that are more impactful because we have to eat and drive our cars around, stuff like that.
right, but
So when
if
we're
you look
like,
if you look compared to the past 2 years, 2022 was an 8.7% increase, and 2023 was a 3.2% increase. So now we're looking at 2.5. The economy sure as hell ain't getting any better. It's getting worse. So how they want to justify the 2.5%? I mean, the numbers are being juggled somewhere, in my opinion.
and
Um,
I have that part on the screen now. So the 2025 VA disability pay rates 2.5% increase. 2024 had, I believe, 2.3 or
3.2.
3.2 or something. And
Yeah,
then
and then
the 2023 rates, that's when we had the big bug and stuff, and that was 8.7%. And kind of always, I think 8.7% is, it should be four times higher than it normally is, basically, is what I'm getting at. So um, that 8.7% should have been much higher. But anyway, let's just kind of walk through these the 2025 VA disability pay rates here. You have 10 and 20%, and at 10 and 20%, I don't know if my mouse will work over here. That those two compensation rates don't have dependents. You need a 30% disability rating to have your dependents included. We are not going to be going over the extended VA expanded chart of dependents. We're talking about veteran alone. So if you need to add dependents, go to the VA's website, see what dependents you have, what they are. If you're already doing it, it's going to be automatic, but you're basically going to times it by 2.5%. Is that, or
yeah,
how do you do it?
it's basically what I mean. Bottom line is, if you want to find out what your new pay is going to be, if everything's staying the same, whatever you're getting this month, times it by 1.025, and that should be your new pay come December 31st, 2024. When you get your, because these pay rates kick in on December 1st, but since we have paid a month behind, you'll see it in your December 31st
Can
paycheck.
you hit me with that number one more time? Because I really suck at math and this thing. So it's the current pay rate times.
Times 1.025. So you're timesing it by one, and then you're adding that 2.5%, but you have to put a zero in there for the decimal point. So it's 1.025%, or your
Yeah,
times by
I failed.
1.025.
I failed decimal point class, unfortunately, and it's something that I should have been paying attention to because it is a real world thing. Here we are. Anyway, that's what you do, folks. So let me switch back over to the screen. As you get obviously, one thing that kind of stands out, it's been like this, but the 50% rate is $1,102.04. I remember I had a 50% rate for a while, and it was under a grand. So, whatever. It's nice that it's over a grand, but it's not nice that there's so much cost of living adjustment stuff. And then scrolling down, or going down a little lower, the big jump here that I know most of you guys or all you guys are watching is the gap between 90 and 100%. So that's $2,297.96 versus 100% is $3,831.30. And really, this is the big gap. This is the hardest 10% to get. And no matter how you go about doing this, TDIU, which would be called the easier way, versus the hard way, which is using the combined ratings table, you're in a medical evidence battle, and you're having medical evidence used against you in the C&P exam and what's in your records, and potentially what you've been saying, most likely what you've been saying. So you need a doctor to speak on your behalf. You're not qualified to do it because you're not a doctor. If you want to learn more about this process, check out my bootcamp at combatcraig.com. There's going to be a link in the description. And then also, if you need an actual doctor to help you with the diagnosis or write the nexus for you, that's also at combatcraig.com. And yeah, links in the description. So what else, Raider X, should we talk about here in the
pull up that
VA disability pay rates?
That chart that you just had up.
I got it? Oh,
okay.
Great. I think I got you up. Okay.
And scroll down. Scroll down. You're going to see the two charts toward the bottom of it, and those actually will
list infographics. You mean?
Yes. Those actually list dependent pay and stuff like that. Those are added onto it. If you look at that graphic, it's color coded for veteran, married, dependents, and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to get a rough estimate as far as additional compensation, depending on your dependent situation, that information is there as well.
Yep. So this is just a better way to look at an infographic is a graphical representation or presentation of numbers. It does work a little bit better for me because I'm a visual person. While we're looking at this graph here, if spouse requires aid in attendance and you're in the 30, so if the spouse requires aid in attendance, I'm noticing that it jumps up.
Yes.
Right. So it's 58, 43 at 30%, and then it's 195.92 at 100%. So all sorts of benefits, monetary benefits get added to you the higher up you go. So get as high as you need to go, get there with medical evidence. And then that one was without children. So this other chart here is talking about, each additional child under age 18, each additional school child over 18, and that is for college. I think it's up to 25 years old, right?
Yes.
So that's going to be like Champ VA. This is 100% stuff for the most part, right? I mean, there's two kinds of that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but under 18 and over 18, and then again, if your spouse requires aid in attendance. Anything else on this one?
No. Did we want to, at the top of this page, though, is we have the pay dates. We had to have.
Let's go through the pay dates, and let's. Here's the dates. We'll just leave them up on the screen for you to take a look at. But what are some of the things they're highlighting? Fridays and then Tuesdays and Thursdays. What are they doing with that? Okay,
basically on that is your anticipated date of pay based on when the last day of the month falls. If it falls on a Saturday, you're going to get paid on the Friday. Falls on Sunday, you get paid on the Monday. But then what you also have to keep in mind is, depending on what your financial institution is, you can also get paid a day or two early. So while these are rough estimates on when you should expect your checks to get deposited, I would always check with your financial institution, because more than likely they're probably going to be off by a day or so, but usually it's going to be in your favor, not against you. Because,
Yeah.
like I said, the financial institutions will pay a little bit early.
Do you
And
do
then
USAA or
I
Navy?
do
Do you
Navy
do one of those
Federal.
two?
I do
Yeah,
Navy.
so those two I've been using USAA since 1957, which is funny because it's 10 years before I was born. That's my dad. USAA, Navy Federal for sure.
Now,
Will
the only thing
What's
this
that?
chart doesn't show is because this kicks in on December, these rates kick in on December 1st, 2024, is
Right.
your first paycheck's going to be December 31st, 2024, which I believe is a Tuesday. So that's when you should get your,
Good point because they're effective and then they have the lag. And then one
yes,
other thing on here that we didn't cover, there's a lot of if it comes on a Friday or if it falls on a Saturday, you get paid Friday. If it falls on a Sunday, you get paid Monday. But there's a lot of Tuesdays and Thursdays on here as well. So those are it's a holiday on Monday or a long weekend or whatever. So it either pushes it forward or back. I'm not sure what's up about the Thursday or the Wednesday, but something's going on. That's why it's happening.
yep.
Let's see. Still on the screen. Is there anything that? All right. How about we hop over to special monthly compensation?
Sure.
So why don't you tell us what special monthly compensation is, so we have so we understand what we're talking about.
Okay, so special monthly compensation falls under 38 CFR 3.350. If you are bored and have absolutely nothing to do and you want to educate yourself on special monthly compensation, go ahead and read there and you'll fall asleep in about 2 minutes, because it is just boring as all get out, but it does explain every step of special monthly compensation from K all the way down to R2/T, which is your TBI, special monthly compensation. And it's just different levels, and there's half steps depending on where you fall in the chart. So, I mean, we're really going into the weeds to try to explain
With
it.
what that is, but you're right. All this stuff is boring. But if you have female arousal disorder or erectile dysfunction,
That's a K.
and and you have a diagnosis for it, or you could get one, that would be a reason to go check out K. For example, if you're housebound, there's two ways you could be housebound. That would be a good reason to look at SMCS. If you have a TBI rating and you feel that you're lowballed, and instead of combining your mental health and your TBI together, and they did it easily, that's usually one of the markers. They just kind of gave it to you and go away. Let's look at this number here because it is the biggest number, and this is it. So for SMCT, which is R2, it's $10,964.66, and that's every month. So if you fall in this category, you have a TBI, look at this criteria, you may meet it. And if you meet it, it's about 3 times more than what you're currently getting paid. And they're
But
smoking you.
that being said, because there are designations for each one. So for level T, it provides compensation to the veterans who suffer from TBI and require aid in attendance. So you have to have aid in attendance due to your TBI, which will allow you to qualify for SMCT. So, I mean, it's not just the fact that you have your service connected for TBI. You need to be service connected for TBI and have to have aid in attendance due to your TBI. So you got
Right.
to be pretty fucked up to be getting SMCT.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's yeah. I would much rather be not fucked up, but that goes. I would much rather not have disability payments at all and not be fucked up. One other thing on this VA on this chart here is the top one, the SMCK 136.06. That's added on to the current your current monthly rate. Uh, the rest of them have way higher numbers, and they combine the SMC and the VA disability rating together. Is that accurate?
That's accurate, and also you don't need to be at 30% like you do for dependents to get the K. I mean, you can be at 0% and have SMCK, and that would be your base amount of pay. So, I
Right.
mean, as long as you're service connected for it and you qualify for K, you're going to get that. You're going to get that money whether you're 0% or 100%. It's additional 136 on top of your uh, base amount.
Yep. So again, this one is tied to COLA. So anything that's tied to COLA goes up. I don't know. I don't think I've never seen it go down. It's a cost of living increase, not a
No,
decrease. So,
if there's no increase or if it stays flat, then it just you'll have the same rate 2 years in a row.
right. Yep.
It's
That
not,
makes
it's not
sense.
going down. It's not going down. There's that's not happening.
And that's what we're basically talking about here. The pay dates the dates you can expect to get paid. Why there's some weirdness there with delays, and if you're USAA and Navy Federal, you already know that you get paid early. But if not, might be something to look forward to. They do pay for sure. Have you ever had any problems with pay?
No.
No, like that, like they screw up everything because they're fucking idiots. But that is one thing they just are never late on, never missed a beat, regardless of government shutdowns and whatever bullshit politics is going on. And I'm sure that's heated up right now, and I know nothing about it because I'm going to just go vote. I don't need the precursor information. Let us scroll down. Is this DIC? Where was your okay? Let's talk about DIC. What is DIC? That was to you, but I'll just read it.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. So DIC is dependency and indemnity compensation. It's a tax-free monthly benefit VA pays to surviving dependents of a veteran whose death was caused by their military service or a service-connected condition.
Um, and I'll just hop in here again. This is a lot of information. Uh, in my boot camp, I explain it. In my videos, I explain it. I didn't get this until 2019. When I got it, I got all of it. I got that I'm playing a game. So when and new veterans are hitting different points, different disabilities, whatever the circumstance is. So all of a sudden you're new. It doesn't matter if you've been out for 40 years. You're getting your head wrapped around this concept of I can get an increase. I can file secondaries. I can do more than what I've been doing. I've been getting fucked, and I haven't been paying attention. All that stuff's okay. It is a lot, and it's not a race. You don't want this isn't a race to go fuck it up again and do it wrong. Uh, Take your time, figure out what disability, which of your disabilities actually pay, and pay is what we are actually going after. So you don't need more 0% ratings. You probably don't need more 10% ratings. You're going for high value. You want to file high value claims, and you don't need these stuff 25 disabilities in there. You have to explain your disability every time. Plus, that's a lot of Nexus letters. So
Well,
check out my boot camp at combatcraig.com and medical evidence. If you need that, you will. If you can't get it, it's a pay to play game on both sides. So that in itself is a hard concept to get around. So our
and
med team can help you out with all that stuff. What was that?
remember remember the VA math joke. It takes 27 10% disabilities to get 100%.
Right.
So
And
why waste your time getting 27 tens when you can go after higher value claims and cut that number dramatically?
I guess there is a play. I mean, we've done what we've done, right? So, like, wherever you're at, that's what you have to work with going forward. But one instance of 2710s would be a BDD program, right? Or anybody on active duty getting out. Like that would be a scenario where that would work,
Absolutely.
right?
Especially when you
But
don't get a nexus letter or anything else, you just need a diagnosis.
right. That's what makes it work. It's the exposure, and you file a claim for everything that's wrong with you because you're no longer a sick hall ranger. As a matter of fact, you camp out in sick hall. That's your new home, and you get everything checked out, and you file your claim, and you can actually have 40, 50, 60 disabilities in there, and that's how a lot of people get it. They get a bunch of tens. But so that only works for people that are in on active duty or in the 1 year presumptive period. After the first 365 days, date of discharge, it gets harder because you need to explain, what you've been doing. It just gets harder. Direct service connection claims specifically get harder. Secondaries are the answer to that one. Let's continue on down the DIC stuff here a little bit. Let me throw that back on if you want to read a few more things.
Sure. So the criteria for veterans, for as far as to qualify for DIC, the service member must have died while on active duty for training, or inactive duty for training, or the veteran passed away to a service-connected disability, or, so there's a bunch of ors here we're dealing with, so we have multiple options on how to qualify. Or the veteran's death was not service-connected, however, which is what the but is, but was entitled to receive VA disability compensation at the 100% disabling condition, or TDIU, so you can still get qualify for DIC being paid under TDIU for a period of 10 years prior to death, or since release from active duty, and for a period of at least 5 years prior to the veteran's death, or for at least 1 year before death if the veteran was a former POW who died after September 30th, 1999, which I'm not sure how many of those we actually have, to be honest with you. I haven't heard a whole lot of POWs after that date.
Yeah, yeah, but definitely thinner. And I wanted to just kind of emphasize this or stuff. So we just showed you an infographic, which is a graphical representation of boring ass numbers and words. These ors are highlighted or bolded on purpose, but even there's so many ors that I start tuning them out. Do not tune out or, and, or but, because it means a combination, and they're super important, and VA uses them all across the 38 CFR.
One note about that. The ors are a good thing. The ands are not so good, because now you need multiple things to qualify for an
This and this and right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd rather deal with ors because it's A, B, or C. So it's either one of those. It's not A, B, and C. So now you had 3 prongs to qualify instead of just 1 prong to qualify. So that's the difference between an and an or. You'd much rather be in an or situation when you're looking to qualify for something than an and situation.
But you're kind of throwing it out there like you could choose that. You can't. You either are in the or situation or the but situation.
Right.
Pay attention to everything, because if you're just swimming into this for the first time, or you don't quite understand it, all that stuff is important. Some things are going to be easier for you. Some things are going to be harder for you. And for sure, nothing is going to be like Raider X's claim, and your claim is going to be nothing like my claim. We have the fundamentals. We're all different. We're all different. You need snowflakes, Raider X.
Right. But there's 2 different criteria for DIC. If you're a surviving spouse, or if you're a dependent child. So for surviving spouse, you had to have been married to the veteran for at least 1 year prior to the veteran's death, or had a child with the veteran, lived with the veteran continuously until the time of their death, and were not separated from the veteran, or if separated, were not responsible for the separation. So that's how you qualify for DIC as a surviving spouse. To qualify for DIC for a dependent child, the dependent child must be unmarried and meet certain other criteria to receive the DIC benefits. Those qualifications are similar to the benefits for dependent benefits, which also require the dependent child is under 18, or is between the ages of 18 and 23 and attending a VA-approved school, or was considered permanently incapacitated before turning 18. So that's a helpless child situation.
A couple things about the child thing here is that we covered this earlier. The under 18, over 18. It's can be easy to tune out dependent children and just think children, but there is an age limit on that, right? You're either under 18 or over 18 by a little, but 32, 8-year-old child is not a dependent child. Unless, right? I
There
guess unless you got in these dates. So just be aware of what dependent children. Don't blow smoke up your own ass. Just read the criteria, see if you actually meet it, and know that you meet it. Run it by somebody else. Is this? We can talk ourselves into anything, especially when it comes to money. We're biased. Right? That happens. We want to get it, and we've not been getting it because we didn't know what we were doing. So don't be confident. Don't be cocky.
And then below that is where we actually have the pay rate for your DIC.
Okay.
And it's going to be the same whether you're a dependent child or you're a spouse. The DIC rate is a base rate.
Wait. So you're saying that this is one base rate and it's the same thing for both? There's nothing. It's straightforward-ish.
Yeah, from what I'm reading on the screen that we've been showing, it says based on the 2025 COLA increase of
Yep.
2.5%, the 2025 DIC rate is 1653.06. Dependents
And
may
that's
also be,
it. That's all
yeah,
there is to it. Yep.
dependents may also be eligible for added monthly compensation based on certain criteria, and that's all listed below that. But yeah, but it's a base rate whether you're a spouse or you're a dependent.
All right. So wanted to get the information out there. I'm not going to do a chat today. This is about the cost of living increase. If you want to talk to me live, join my boot camp. If you need medical evidence, you will at some point. Check your records. Make sure your medical evidence is actually positive and supports your disability. If it does not do that, you need to get that kind of evidence in. My med team can help with that. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.
See ya.